Today we're going to go over a case study of an individual who is eating low calorie and low carbohydrate and how that impacted her metabolism. Now I want to tell you a little bit of a backstory about this person before we dive into that, because this person was sort of rooted in disordered eating, which is what led her to doing the low calorie, low carb diet. So at baseline, this person was 5'6" and about 140 pounds. And she didn't like that. She wanted to be less. And when I asked her why, she said, I just feel like I would feel better if I was 5 or 6 pounds less. And she found herself obsessing over this last 5 pounds, right? Her weight had pretty consistently always been right around 140 pounds, but she basically refused to accept that. She was insistent that she had too much fat around her middle section and that she had to lose it. And what this led to is a series of doing lots of different fad diets, diet changes, and all of these different things after obsessing over, again, this last 5 pounds. So again, I tell you that because I think it's important that you understand the backstory, because that's what led this person to logging, weighing, measuring, and obsessing over everything that she ate. So before coming in to see us, again, logging, weighing, measuring every single thing that she ate, she was only eating about 1,500 calories per day, and only 10% of that, 10% of her total daily intake was coming from carbohydrates. And she had gotten to this because what did she do? She had gotten in rabbit holes online and thought that this was going to be the solution to losing that 5 pounds and all of these things. And I'm not criticizing her. I don't want you to think that I'm mocking this, but I'm really pointing this out because this is what happens to so many people. They refuse to accept their current size, and then again, they get on a spiral of a rabbit hole on the internet and trying all of these different crazy diet things. So 1,500 calories, 10% or less from carbohydrates, was also doing exercise about an hour, 5 days a week of a mix of strength and cardio, but then one day over the weekend was going on a really long hike that would usually be 4 or 5 hours depending on what hike it was. So a total of 6 days per week. One day she did take a rest day, which was good. And again, really frustrated because weight just wasn't budging. So that's why she initially came in. Let me show you how this impacted her metabolic rate. So here's this person's initial metabolic test, and what you can see is that her metabolism had dropped really low, honestly, as to be expected. She was not fueling her body well enough for the amount of exercise that she was doing. So her resting metabolic rate is down here at 1,161, which is well below where we would predict it to be at 1,594, and that protein metabolism, or breakdown of muscle mass, is 11% above normal. Now remember, what that means is that she's under eating and over exercising. She's not getting in enough calories. She's definitely not getting in enough carbohydrates. And as a result, her body is chipping away at her muscle mass as opposed to building it in all of this exercise that she's trying to do. Now then, of course, sometimes I get the question of, why does it matter? Like, what happens if metabolism just stays low? And I've talked about this in other case studies, but what this means is that the body's being forced to compensate by trying to keep you alive, essentially. Your metabolism has dropped, your muscle mass is being chipped away at, and that's going to impact immunity, longevity, bone health. What it's going to also impact is your gut function and all of these things. So needless to say, for this person, our conversation was actually, you need to take in quite a bit more. You also need to get in a lot more carbohydrates to fuel your exercise. And then, as we worked together, the conversation was also a little bit about body image and how we need to accept our bodies where they're at. When you're obsessing over the last 5 pounds or even the last 10 or 15 pounds, that's usually when the desperation comes in and we try all of these crazy fad diets or super low carbs or super low calories or whatever it is, when really this all rooted in body image. And if we can work on that first, then we move away from the obsession with the calories and carbs and all of those other things. It's so worth it, and if you need help, I definitely recommend working with a dietitian. Thanks so much for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, ask any questions you have in the comments section.